This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Think of someone at work he can call. Think. Then it dawned on him. He couldn't think of one person at work he can call who would come pick him up. His only option left was his wife, and she was the last person he wanted to ask. George walked in the house and heard the usual noise and chaos coming from the kitchen. He could hear the puppy jumping around and his wife trying to get the kids to sit still and eat their breakfast before heading off to school. He peered through the kitchen archway. As soon as the children saw him, the cheers erupted. "Hi, Daddy," they yelled. His daughter came up to him and wrapped her arms around his hip. "I love you, Daddy," she said as George barely acknowledged her. His son shouted, "Dad, can we play basketball right now?" George was like a reluctant celebrity in his own home. They wanted a piece of him, but he just wanted to hide in silence. "No," George shouted back. "It's not a weekend. I have to get to work. Now both of you please be quiet so I can ask your mother something." "Honey, I have a flat tire, and I have this really important meeting I have to get to today, and I need your car," he said frantically. "What about the spare?" she asked. "Of course you would bring that up. I never got it fixed." "Well, I can't help you, George. I have to take the kids to school, then I have a dentist appointment, then I have to get the puppy to the vet, then I have a parent-teacher meeting. Should I continue? You're not the only one who has things to do. You act like you're the only important one in this family, but I run this house and this family, and if I don't have a car today, I can't do my job." She had become good at mounting a good offense to preempt George's attacks. "Yes, but if I'm late to this meeting, then I may not have a job," he said. As George and his wife continued bantering back and forth, their 5-month-old puppy decided to say hello to George as well by jumping and slobbering all over him until he grabbed her by the collar and took her into the kennel. "Why do we get this dog anyway?" he asked. "Do we really need to deal with a dog right now with all we have going on?" "That's real nice," his wife said as their daughter started to cry, saying, "Daddy doesn't love Sammy." "I can't deal with this right now," George said. "You can't seem to deal with anything, anytime," his wife countered. "Can you just drop me off after taking the kids to school?" he asked. "I'll still probably make it in time for the meeting." "I don't have time, George. Didn't you hear all I have to do today? I'll hit serious traffic on the way back, and then my day is gone." "Why didn't you just take the bus?" she said. "It's only about a mile to the bus stop." "The bus? Are you kidding me? The bus? I haven't ridden on a bus since who knows when." "Who takes the bus?" George asked, very frustrated. "Well, today," his wife answered bluntly, "you do. That's who." "Fine," George said as he grabbed his bag, stormed out of the house, and began his mile-long trek to the bus stop. Bus number 11 stopped in front of George, who was huffing, puffing, and swearing under his breath. What a surprise, George thought. I actually made the bus. With my luck, I figured I would miss it. As George stepped on the bus, he made eye contact with the driver, who had the 2 brightest eyes and the biggest smile he had ever seen. "Good day to you today, sugar," she cheered. George just mumbled and took a seat. What's so good about it, he thought. But her eyes never left him as she watched him walk to his seat through her rearview mirror. George could feel her eyes on him. Why is she looking at me? I paid the fare, he thought. He could see her big, never-ending smile in the rearview mirror and wondered, does this woman ever stop smiling? Doesn't she know it's Monday? Who smiles on Monday? Where are you going, she asked. George pointed to himself. Me? Yeah, you, sugar. I haven't seen you on my bus before, and I know everyone on this route. To work at the NRG company, he answered. That building downtown with the big light bulb on it, she asked excitedly. Yes, we make light bulbs, answered George, who wished he had time to get a paper so he could bury his head in it. So what do we owe the pleasure of having you on my bus today, she asked. Flat tire, he said. I hate taking the bus, but I have a meeting I have to get to with my team, and I had no other choice. Well, you just sit back and relax, and don't worry about a thing. You may not like taking the bus, but I got to tell you, this is no ordinary bus. This is my bus, and you're going to enjoy the ride. My name is Joy. What's yours? George mumbled his name, hoping she would just leave him alone. His words were short, and so was his fuse. Even on his best days, George was not a man who enjoyed chit-chatting, and he certainly didn't like talking to a bus driver who seemed like she had drunk one too many cups of coffee, and of all names, hers had to be Joy. Figures, he thought. Joy was something that had certainly been lacking in his life. He couldn't remember the last time he was happy. I bet she has no worries, he thought. All she has to do is drive a bus each day and smile and be nice to strangers. Sure, she could be all cheery and smile at me, but she knows nothing about me. She doesn't know the stress I deal with each day. She doesn't know the responsibilities I face at work and at home. Wife.